Are we on? Are we on? Welcome to Basketball Heads Live. I am your host, Glenn Pooh Harding. And oh boy, we have a very special guest. This basketball head is a St. Anthony's High School legend who dominated the competition in the late 80s. This basketball head dropped an astonishing 35 points, 14 rebounds against that great Malloy team. He was one of the most recruited players during that time, and this basketball head chose to attend Villanova University, where he continued his dominance with 1,504 career points, 728 rebounds, and 273 blocks as a Wildcat. This basketball head was a first-team All Big East honors in 1990, while playing against the likes of Dikembe Mutombo and Derek Coleman, who were dominant players in their own right. Who can forget this basketball head's performance in the Maui Classic, where he hit that buzzer beater off that jump hook, finished the game with 16 points, 15 rebounds. Everybody know about that Maui Classic. Definitely know it's legendary. What about that unforgettable last game during his senior year against Boston College, where he scored 26 points, 14 rebounds, and 7 block shots to cement himself in Villanova University's Hall of Fame? Now you can catch this basketball head performing stand-up routines around the country. So, without further ado, help me welcome to the show St. Anthony High School's legend and Villanova University Hall of Fame inductee, my guy, my brother, Tom Greis.
Y'all ready? Yes. You have just stepped out into the world of chaos, where everybody goes hard. Come on. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Or go home. Never back down. You gotta hold your own. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. East Coast. Go hard. West Coast. Go hard. Midwest. Go hard. Dirty. Hurry up, everybody. Get online. Buy your tickets, cause the game about to start.
What's up, my brother?
What is good, Pooh? So good to be on here with y'all.
Man, listen, it's a pleasure to have you, man. You know, I've been hitting you up for a while. I was like, y'all gotta get my guy on here, man. People don't realize all the work he put in. He put in a lot of work in these New York streets, you know, from here to Long Island. Well, his home is Long Island. From Long Island to the city, he put in a lot of work, man.
I want to keep it 100 though. I was born in Queens.
Say word.
I was born in Maspeth.
Yo, so now you're gonna get your first tech of the game, and that's what we do. It's always positive on this side, though. I had told him we got him the first tech of the game, baby. Hey, word, you from Queens?
Yep.
Oh man,
I think where I was at was like a block or two from Christ the King, like right by the Elmhurst tanks. You remember?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So you would have been a Royal for real.
Yeah.
Wow. This is crazy. This is breaking news. I didn't even know that. Well, listen, I got to give a big shout out to Maspeth High School because they've been doing great these last couple of years. And I told the coach I'm going to come out and see them play. Coach, I will be out there to watch you guys this season for sure. They got a hell of a team out there, man, for sure. Yeah. So
No
I want to
doubt.
jump right into you because this is your night, brother. This is your night, and we want to celebrate. That's right. Big Tom is in the house, Basil.
What's up, Basil?
That's right. Coach Biggs, what's up? Ayatollah always on the check-in. He's always the first one in the building. Salute to my guy, Ayatollah Beats. Dope DJ and producer.
Uh-huh.
And they don't know. We was talking hip-hop before we got on the show, right, Tom? They don't know.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
We from that era. You're a big Georgetown fan, but he played that Villanova. Let's get it right, Basil. Google him. He's Googleable.
Hey, Basil, how about this for a stat if you're a Georgetown fan? I have blocked the most Hoya shots in a single game, I think, still at 9.
Tell him, Tom. Let him know. And they had the best bigs in the Big East.
You can
right?
look it up. This game in particular was at the Spectrum, and the Flyers had played the night before, and it was slick out there. Now, if you remember, Pooh, I didn't really jump too high, and nobody else could either because of how slick it was. So it just was like I was just boot, boot, boot. By the end of the night, I had 9, and apparently that record still stands.
Man, listen. 1987, 1988, you was third team All Big East. First team in 1990. Points, you was 14th and 12th, right? You was in the top. When I look at all your stats, you in the top 20 for everything. You was in the top your whole career. You was in the top 20 for everything. Every stat that you know of. We talking about points per game, total rebounds, blocks per game, effective field goal percentage, that free throw percentage, field goal percentage. You name it, minutes plays. It's crazy.
Yeah, I was lucky, man. I had a really lucky situation with the guys that I played with. We would, I certainly didn't have all the athletic attributes that guys have now. And I feel like I was in a situation that worked for me, if you know what I'm saying. We were deliberate, we didn't run all that much. We mostly set it up, played a lot of matchup D, matchup zone D, and that would help me getting blocks. I was in help side a lot, obviously. So, my sophomore year especially, we really had it going where we were talking about Gary Massey. Gary Massey was Big East Defensive Player of the Year that year. That was the year that we went to the Final 8 and ended up losing to Oklahoma, who ended up losing to Danny Manning and Kansas that year. It was like the 50th anniversary of the tournament or something like that, just to date myself.
This is real, man. Hey, listen, look, brother, we came up in a unique time, like I said, that golden era of basketball. You'll never see another like it. And for yourself, you talk about Gary Massey. I tell kids all the time, yeah, you probably the leading scorer in your high school, but when you get to college and to the next level in the league, you definitely gonna have to play defense.
Yeah, no doubt.
A team in college, especially on the D1 level.
Yeah, I mean, for sure, at Villanova, it was a requirement because we weren't Derek Coleman and Cliff Robinson and all those dudes that were playing in the league the first day they set foot on campus. We weren't that. So we had to know the scouting report better than they knew their own plays. We had to work better as a team than other teams that were just physically more gifted than we were. So, we worked with what we had.
And you played under legendary coach Rollie Massimino. So
yes, sir.
Salute to the legend. I never met the man, but I always said, man, if he ever recruited me, that's where I'm going. I loved his energy.
I'll tell you how I decided to go to Villanova. My high school coach.
Hold on. Before we even get to that, because that's one of my questions. So let's save that. Let's save that because that's definitely something I definitely want to hear. The first
Okay.
question I always ask everyone is, who introduced you to the game?
Oh, my dad, for sure. My dad actually played at St. Anthony's, and that was like a big deal that I would play at St. Anthony's, or at least go to St. Anthony's, because of his experience there. And it was just a lot of fun. I was bigger than everybody from the very get-go. So I always had skill, but my body didn't do anything like I ever wanted it to do. I wanted to go one direction, it'd want to go in the other direction. And, that's just how it was. But it's important to, we had that time together. It was definitely a time, my playing career was a big highlight for my dad's life. I think he really enjoyed it. He got to go back into the office at Con Ed, and, all the guys would be like, "Hey, I saw your son play on ESPN the other night. That was awesome."
Man, salute to dad, man. Salute to dad.
Yeah.
For sure. Where did you grow up? Because, we talked about you coming from Queens, right? We said that in the beginning of the show, right?
Right.
Did you grow up in Queens, or did you grow up in Long Island? And how was life for you growing up?
I grew up on Long Island. We got out of Queens because I think I had I legit hit a kid with a like a horseshoe magnet in the head on the day of his first Holy Communion. So I think my mom and dad were like, "Yeah, we need to move. We need to maybe."
I'm not
check
laughing
out.
at the kid, but damn, Tom.
It was an accident. I promise you, it was an accident. But the
Right.
shit did happen, and at that point, I felt like it was a good time to check out.
No doubt,
But,
no doubt. Salute to mom and dad for making that move, because hey, you got to go and play at your dad's alma mater, which turned out pretty well for you.
That was a lot of fun. Growing up was tough. When you're bigger than everybody and your body doesn't do anything like you'd like it to do. I was a good athlete. Like if I connected with the baseball, I'd hit it into the next county, but then I get tagged out trying to stretch a double into a triple because I was too slow to get around the bases.
Right.
So I tried to pitch in Little League, and I beamed. I couldn't pitch to left-handed pitcher to left-handed batters. I would beam them, every single one of them. So I'm as big as the coaches are out there. And I hit this one kid, and his mom comes running out. "You're too big to be on this team. You shouldn't be playing, blah, 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 blah." And it's funny how you hear about big guys, and a lot of big guys are, one of the first things that you have to, as a big guy, is to show everybody that you're not soft.
Right.
Because soft big guys get eaten alive. We all know that. But your entire life, up until the time you pick up a basketball, you're told you're bigger than everybody. Be gentle. Be gentle. You're bigger than everybody. And then your high school coach, Gus Alfieri, gets a hold of me, and he's like, "All right, now kill that dude." "Oh, now I get to do what I want to do."
Right.
So it takes adjustment to kind of relearn that. Luckily for me, I am incredibly petty. So I was able to figure that out real quick. All you had to do was tell me somebody was better than me, and that was all I needed.
That's right. And thank God you switched to basketball, because if you accidentally hit another player, man, right?
No,
From horseshoe to baseballs.
I was so big as a kid. I tried to play football when I was like 8 years old, and I was legit the youngest kid on the team. Everybody else was 8. I was 7. They made a rule that I couldn't be quarterback, running back, receiver, anything to touch the ball. All I could do was be offensive or defensive line. And I get that, but it definitely kind of took a toll on, I guess, my self-esteem for a while. And then basketball happened, and things started to click. And then the rest happened as how it happened.
When did basketball start to consume your life as a youngster?
Man, I would say that I would watch every Knick game that Bernard King ever played in the Knick jersey. I'm pretty sure I've watched every single one. I mean, Bernard King is probably one of my favorite basketball players. Him and Julius Erving, I'd say, are probably the two guys that just made me like marvel that they were superheroes, that they were doing something that I could only dream of doing in any comparable way. So as I got better, it just, what it did too was it made my size make sense to everybody. Oh, look how big he is, but he's really good at basketball, so that makes sense.
That's right. That's right.
You know what I'm saying? That makes sense to everybody. If I was, not a basketball player, but like a great scientist, people would be like, "No, that's a waste. You should have played basketball."
Well, my former college teammate, Torsten Stein, is the world's tallest chiropractor.
I'm the world's tallest stand-up comedian.
Look at that.
Yep.
Wow.
I don't have that on lock, but from what I understand, there's a guy out in California who's promoting himself as the tallest. Dude's only 6'9". I had him in like freshman year of high school.
Yo, you need to contact Guinness and make that official.
I feel like I do, but it's harder than you'd think. It's not like they're, I guess, looking to add to the book. I don't know.
They need to, Tom. They definitely need to. Well, hopefully this podcast will do it, because I'll put that in the headlines. World's tallest comedian.
100%.
I'll definitely do that for sure.
Absolutely.
Do you remember the first team you played for and who was the coach?
Oh, my school team.
Anywhere
or anywhere. My dad was first. We played PAL league or CYO.
Yes, CYO.
I played CYO with my dad. So, but yeah, everybody turned out to be, except for my dad, most everybody turned out to be Italian for some reason. Gus Alfieri in high school,
right,
and then Rolly in college. So I guess I kind of wanted to be around Italian people for some reason.
Yeah, and listen, CYO is still big on Staten Island. Let me tell you.
Is it really?
It's $300 a kid. It's a big moneymaker. Yes, it's huge on Staten Island.
It's like AAU light, kind of, huh?
Definitely, because they travel throughout the city and they travel throughout the state. There's a state champion in CYO, which I never knew existed until I started interviewing guys from Staten Island.
But is it like the NIT of AAU?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely.
It's like, okay, it's $300, but the guys that are nice are probably paying that much more or whatever.
I think it's $300 for everyone, and the nice guys don't pay at all. But you know how that go, right?
Yep, I remember. Listen. I've played at Riverside a few times.
There you go. Those who can't pay, those who are nice don't. It's just what it is.
Exactly right.
That's right. Do you remember the first time you came into the city to play, and what were your feelings afterwards?
Oh my God. The first time I came into the city to play was shortly after the Newsday Classic, when Long Island won for the first time.
Hold on, Tom. Hold on. I remember that. New York City used to dominate those games year after year. Let's talk about that.
I was scared to play in it, the Newsday Classic, because I remember watching Pearl.
Yes.
Pearl, Kenny Smith, Olden Polynice, and a couple of other dudes. Pearl had 50.
Yes.
In a high school game. we were dropping it in the basket, and by the time anybody got to the half court, Pearl was already over half court laying it in the basket. It was like he was running a layup line, and nobody could stop him. It was impossible. So like as a Long Island guy, you're like, oh shit, now I'm gonna have to play this game one of these days.
Right.
And in this particular case, it was kind of my coming out party as a player, because God rest him, Chris Brooks was on the team, and Chris was, if you've never seen or heard of Chris Brooks was 6'6", 6'7", 230, 235 pounds of chiseled muscle, could jump out of the gym. And I remember on the night of the game, we're running layup lines, and Chris is doing stuff that guys in the NBA dunk contest weren't doing. I mean, we actually stopped and watched him, because we were just like, oh my God, this is amazing. What this guy is going to do, but also scared out of our minds that he was going to do it with us in the general vicinity of what he was doing. I get a pass, and it was a bang, bang play. I get a pass. I dunk. Chris is right there, and I dunk on Chris. And one, I missed the free throw. Doesn't matter. The fact that I did that to him, of all people, was like my stamp to New York basketball. All right, now we get it. So I end up playing for Riverside against the Gauchos. And who's playing for the Gauchos? Sweet Pea. I have to check Sweet Pea. Sweet Pea hands me about 60. And there was nothing I could do. Nothing I could do. And I know people are listening to this right now, and they're like, yeah, no, there's nothing you could have done. If you knew what Sweet Pea was at that time, he was impossible. He was like KD.
Before KD. And we want to say rest in peace to my guy, Chris Brooks. He was Dominique Wilkins in high school.
And
just
stronger looking and bigger.
Much bigger, much stronger. Yes.
Yeah, he could have been he could have easily been like a linebacker in football.
Easy.
Or a tight, imagine him as a tight end.
Jerome Lane. You see how big Jerome Lane was? That broke the backboard?
Yep.
Similar. But Chris Brooks' his neck was ridiculous. His neck was
ridiculous.
Listen, my arms was never big, but Chris Brooks' neck was bigger than my arms. Okay?
Pooh, you remember him in layup lines, though? This type of stuff he would do?
Yeah. Ridiculous. He was the first guy I seen hit it off the backboard and dunk it backwards. I was just like, and he did it with ease. He just like walk up and do it. He was never running, doing these dunks.
I swear, we were sitting there watching him in layup lines, just like, damn, look at that. I hope he doesn't do that on me. But I ended up catching him. And then that, like I said, that was like, all right, you're nice now.
No doubt. Chris Brooks will love this. Love you, brother. That deserves a tech. Yo, let me tell you, brother, that is a way to come out. Because, people heard of your name on Long Island, but coming to the city and doing that, man, we all were like, just like, damn, he's big, but can he play? And then when we saw that you could play, we was like, oh, shit. Oh, it's going to be trouble. It's going to be trouble. Sweet Pea, listen, Sweet Pea gave me 47. Always say this. The three guys who actually bust my ass ever, Sweet Pea is one of them. And it's so crazy. I'll tell you a quick story real quick. He was playing with the Gauchos, and I played with the Madison Square Broncos. We beat them in the city championship, in the AAU city championship. Sweet Pea wouldn't pass nobody the ball because Coach Dave wanted to sub him out. Now listen, Tom, think about this. If a coach wanted to sub you out and you didn't want to come out, what could the coach do?
Just call a timeout.
But still, if you get on the court afterwards.
With Sweet Pea, I don't know what you could do.
Powerless. And then it threw the whole team off, and we was able to win. But salute to my guy, Sweet. I speak to him every day. I'm going to definitely share this interview with him, man, for sure. Oh, we like to say conversations because.
Absolutely.
That's right. So how was your transition into St. Anthony's, right? And when were you an instant hit?
When I came into St. Anthony's, I actually wasn't even going to play basketball, believe it or not, because my junior high school experience was so bad because my coordination at that time was non-existent. And so here I am, 6'8" as an 8th grader, but can't walk and chew gum at the same time. So I was just going to St. Anthony's to be a student, but of course Gus got a hold of me, and that changed. But I would say sophomore year was where things started to really. I was starting on a team that ended up winning 26 games. Like I think we lost maybe 4 or 5 games that year, and we ended up losing to Christ the King in the Catholic Championship before going up to upstate. And like one of our best guys, Tim Russell, was really sick. He was like walking pneumonia or something like that, and it just threw us all completely off. But yeah, I guess sophomore year, that's when things started to look like it was heading in the right direction. And then junior year, I guess, was when things really popped off, because then that was me and Kenny Atkinson on the same team. We were killing people, absolutely killing people, clowning people. It was hilarious, but crazy, the stuff we were doing.
That was going to be my next question, man. Kenny Atkinson went to my prep school, MCI.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Tell everybody how great Kenny Atkinson was.
It's hard to put into words. If you ever want to look up the word gym rat in the dictionary, there should be his picture there. I've never met someone who loved playing basketball more than Kenny did. He absolutely loved it. He demanded excellence around him. Kenny would yell at me all the time if he felt like I wasn't running hard enough, or if I didn't, I wasn't really the type to like rub it in very much, unless you provoked me to. And, sometimes I'd dunk on somebody and I just, I wouldn't like rub it in, and he'd be like, man, you gotta let them know, I'm like, all right, I just dunked on him. I think I let him know. So in that way, we were different. He just had such an amazing will, such an amazing work ethic. His body was like twisted steel the entire, when he was a junior and senior in high school. He looked like a man already. And nothing but respect for him. I'm so happy to see him having so much success as a coach. I think he got screwed by the Nets. I think there's no way that he should have gotten dropped by the Nets, but from what I understand, he didn't have the accolades necessary to keep the job. So
politics of the NBA, bro.
Good.
That's right.
Yeah,
politics of the NBA, and we definitely got to get him on the show as well, for sure. Kenny Atkinson remind me a similar player to how Billy Donovan was.
Yeah, right? Very similar.
If y'all guys know, if you don't know who Billy Donovan, y'all know him as a coach, go look him up as a ball player. Even if you don't know who Kenny Atkinson was, look at some of those Richmond, University of Richmond highlights where he was dogging Syracuse, and you will see.
He was a dog. That's perfect
Yes,
description. He was a dog.
definitely. So now Kenny leaves, correct?
Yep.
How many years? Well, your senior year, right? Your junior year,
It
he's
was
a
me
senior.
and Kenny, and then it was me, and let's see, John Milano was our point guard. Mike Ryan was our 2. George Reebok was our 3. Gary Anderson was our 4, and I was the 5. So
Salute to those guys too, man. Salute to them.
yep. I'm surprised I still remember that at this age.
Hey, listen, you always remember that knit 5 right there.
That's true.
What was that run like when y'all won Long Island? Like,
not as good as I wanted it to be. You know, I wanted to make an absolute statement and, you know, just let everybody know what was up that year, that I was gonna, you know, win the island, and that was that. There was nothing anybody was going to do about it. I caught an ankle like a quarter of the way through the season, and that we lost a few games as a result of that. We went and did a few different types of tournaments, one up in Schenectady, one out in Missouri, and did pretty well there. And then when it came down to winning the Long Island Catholic Championship, St. Agnes had beaten us twice that year in the regular season.
St. Agnes is always tough, and that's Billy Donovan's school as well. You know, St. Agnes
always tough.
Yeah,
always tough. So yeah, I was just furious that we were looked at, because we lost those 2 games. We were the underdog in the game, which I took as, you know, being, as I said, being petty. That was a big insult to me, because I felt like, you know, the one game I got in early foul trouble on some ticky tacks, and then the second game I got that was when I twisted my ankle, so I only played like the first quarter and a half or so of the game. So I was like, yeah, it's on now, and that night, I remember I wouldn't talk to anybody, and you didn't want to dap me up that night, because I would try to break your hand if you did. And we just went to work, and we ended up winning by, like, I think 18 or 20 by the end of the game, and it was just really satisfying to put that out there in the world and make it happen. So it was great.
And also, it's tough to beat someone 3 times in a row.
True.
You know, it's very tough to beat someone 3 times in a row. And of course, they weren't going to beat you anyway, because you was pissed off, and that's the last thing you want to do is piss you off. For sure. That was crazy. So you guys beat them, and then that next game, you guys got to come into the city and play against the Catholic school champions. That's won the city championship, correct?
Yeah, played Malloy.
Let me tell you, I think we would listen to that game on the radio.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I think that's how we heard, because we had to figure out who we was going to play.
Right.
Because we already won, and then that game was so legendary especially because of the law of Kenny, right? The best freshman in the nation at that time, making his rounds around the country and throughout the city that year, and him only playing 3 quarters.
Yep.
And when we heard how that game ended, and walk us through that, because I don't want to give the whole story. Sorry if I gotta let you relive this again, Tom.
Oh no, man, it's all good.
Because Kenny had to relive ours when we beat them, so I had him on here.
I always say that, you know, my high school career was effectively ended by Kenny Anderson, my college career was ended by Shaquille O'Neal. So if I had to go out, I feel like I had a couple dudes that put me out, and I didn't have to feel too bad about it. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
But Kenny was just this little tiny kid. You remember? I mean, you look at him in layup lines, you're like, oh, what is he? One of the coach's kids? That's cute. And then he gets out there, and you can't stay in front of him. You can't do nothing with him. I mean, I think he fouled me out by himself. He just kept on, like, I kept on trying to take angles on him, and he, at the very last second, he would just bump into me, and then I'm on the bench, and or have to just let him do what he's doing. But yeah, Kenny was on that team, and
Ralph James
was on that team.
Yeah.
Shout out to Ralph if he's watching. I love that man. Love his. I'll tell you what, Ralph James is probably what he absolutely was important to me playing in the city, because he and his family would allow me to come to his house and hang out until it was time to go play. My parents couldn't hang out, so they, we got friendly through Riverside, and then from that point on, if I ever needed a place to chill out for a few hours, I'd go and hang out with them.
Man, I had Ralph James on the show and had Kenny on the show as well, but to hear the amount of people that hung out at Ralph James' house,
yep,
it's,
his parents are the best.
Man,
are the best.
He would have like Dr. J, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, you, Brad Daugherty, Matt Daugherty, all these guys, all these Long Island greats and city greats over his house having dinner.
Yep.
Man, salute to the whole James family, man. Oh,
absolutely.
Man. It's my guy, Ralph.
Shout out to Ralph.
Still a stand-up guy, man. Still a stand-up guy.
I mean, can we just discuss his body at this point in time in his life?
Oh, man.
I'm tired of looking at it. All he does is post on Instagram.
Yes.
And he's always like this, and it's always way too impressive. I mean, I don't know.
Well, that's how Chris Brooks looked in high school, okay?
That's exactly right.
But Ralph don't have his neck, right? That was just like
no
one has Chris Brooks' neck except the guys that play football.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that was crazy. So, to lose in that kind of fashion with him hitting that shot, did you guys go to overtime, or was it in regulation?
I think it was in regulation. I mean, everybody, that was one of those games where everybody did their thing, to the degree that they could do their thing.
Then you had 35 and 14, fam.
Yeah. I mean, Kenny did his thing, Ralph did his thing. It was just one of those games that somebody had to lose. So it wasn't one of those games shot. Like, yeah, it wasn't one of those games where you felt like you'd given away an opportunity. It was just one of those games where the clock has to run out and somebody has to have more points.
That's real, man. That's real. Did you realize, or did you know that St. Anthony's won the first state championship in New York State history, and that is the school's only state championship?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I think that was wasn't that Jimmy Simkus on that team?
I think so. I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure of the players, but
yeah,
I knew that for a long time.
It was in the 70s. It was in the 70s.
1979.
Though, right?
That's when they started counting in 1979.
Right.
And in 1986, they started counting the
that's who it was. It was
basketball.
Richie Simkus.
Yeah. Man.
It was Richie Simkus.
Yeah. Legendary time.
That was actually something for me, because he would come back and play every once in a while.
Right.
And I played against the first time I played against him. I think I was probably a senior in high school, I was, guy won the championship, and he plays at Princeton or whatever he was playing at. We start playing, and I'm like, huh, this guy's not that good. I mean, obviously he was good, but I was like expecting him to just blow me away. Like,
right.
Absolutely sun me to death. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But it didn't go like that. I was like, huh, maybe I got a future in this.
Yeah.
So,
you guys beat Mount Vernon. Okay. Mount Vernon has the most state championships out of anyone in New York State with 7.
yeah.
Well, 8, but I don't really count that 8 because that was the COVID year and there was no federation. But hey, I'll give it to them. They like it. I love it. It's crazy. Now, I remember you talking about, I'm going to go back to Kenny a little bit because this kind of makes sense. Him coming into you, making those layups and not being afraid if you block his shot. I remember him posting up Christian Laettner during the Empire State Games. Do you remember the Empire State Games?
Dude, I played in it every year. Yeah. I remember one of the best games I think I've ever seen in my life was Pearl and Walter Berry for the city against, I think it was one of the Western teams. Like
It was Western. Yeah.
And it was a bunch of Syracuse dudes from the West team, and Pearl and Walt on the team for the city. And I'm just sitting there. I'm like, it was like the first year I played. I think I was a sophomore, and I went and just watched the game. I don't think I played at all during the tournament, but watching that game, I was like, man, I'm glad.
I heard about that game. Murderous Towns. Whenever Pearl and and this is why
them.
Just imagine those two in the same team. So when I watch New York City point guards, no knock to them, great job for what you guys did. But I thought that Mark and Kenny should have did their own documentary, even though they should have been mentioned. But there's no way you don't start that documentary off with Pearl Washington.
I agree.
Even though, now let's talk about it. You got Lenny Wilkins, who was like the first, right? Well, we could talk about Bob Cousy, right? Really. Let's Bob Cousy. And then you get Lenny Wilkins, because that's like a 10-year gap, right? And then another 10 years, you get Tiny, right? And then like another 20 years or 25 years, something like that, you get Pearl. And then there's like an explosion of point guards after that.
Yep.
Right? So his impact.
Kenny Smith, Kenny Anderson, Steph
Mark
Marbury.
Jackson, right? You talking about all of those guys, Ross Strickland, Boo Harvey. We could go on and on and on and on. So many that came out to fit. Derek Phelps, we could go on and on and on. Dave Edwards.
Absolutely.
We could go on. So many names to mention. We'll be here all night mentioning all the point guards. But there was definitely an explosion after Pearl.
Yep.
Definitely. When did the college letters start pouring in? And what was your recruiting like during those years?
Sophomore year, it was when I think I got my first letter from Georgia Tech sophomore year. And then from then on, I just get letters from the AD. You just have me come to the office a couple times a week. I pick up all the letters, bring them home to my folks. We didn't really, my recruiting experience was really boring. I only took two visits. I visited Providence, and then I visited Villanova. And Providence was a great school, beautiful school. I just didn't feel it. Went to Villanova, felt like the same environment that I was in at St. Anthony's. So I was like, that works for me. And they had just won the national championship 2 years before.
Oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. And when you talk about that defense minded system that Coach Massimino had, it
Yeah.
came from that championship, right? That
Yep.
1985 championship.
hmm
How come only 2 visits, Tom? I know you was getting letters from everyone.
I had visits set up with Maryland. Well, St. John's, I would go visit from time to time, but it wasn't like we ever did a full on visit.
I'm glad you didn't go to
Marquette.
St. John's. No knock to them, but I'm glad you didn't go to St. John's.
Yeah, I don't think I would have been a good fit at St. John's. They
Right.
were much more up and down
Yep.
than
Yep.
would have been good for me. I would have, been a guy that just like came in for spots or something like that.
Right. Right.
But it was a great experience, man. It was just a lot of fun. A lot of fun. It's fun to talk about now. Like your whole introduction, it was like, yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Man, listen, brother, you did some legendary things during a legendary time. It wasn't like you were just, a 7-footer who was just there in the paint, just because you were 7 feet. You actually had an impact on the game, and you left a legacy behind you. So that's
I appreciate that, man.
Nah, for sure.
When you
us real ball players know.
Yeah, no doubt. We talk about that before. There's just a certain understanding that not everybody has.
That's right. What was your transition like? Because now you moving from, remember that awkward time in junior high school, and then you go into high school, then things are starting to come along, and now you find your way in high school, become one of the dominant players in New York, get recruited to Villanova, Providence, Maryland, St. John's, and many other schools, decide on Villanova. How was your transition there, off and on the court, coming in as a freshman?
I came in overweight for sure. I wasn't ready for the college game physically yet, but I was thrown into it anyway because we were a little shorthanded. My guy. Yeah. So the first year was like, oh no, did I make a mistake? Am I going to get any run here, or is this going to be, I'm going to sit on the bench? But my sophomore year, I spent that entire summer working on my body and working on my game and all that kind of thing. So when the sophomore year came around, I had just drilled myself into being this player that could, pretty much score on anybody, and I could block shots, and I could grab boards. So, and that sophomore year just was really the year where people thought of me as a good college player. That's when I made the transition to being, ending up having the career that I had. But I was just in a good position, and was lucky enough to be able to take advantage of it.
Okay, Mr. Petty, who pissed you off during your freshman year? Who pissed you off during your freshman year that you said, you know what, enough of this? I'm gonna show you guys.
Rolly.
There you go. That's right. Go ahead. Let them know.
Well, Rolly was never really a big man players coach. Like, he didn't really, we just didn't have true centers. We had a lot of guys like Eddie Pickney, Harold Presley, John Pannone, Dwayne McClain, even Howard Porter in professional basketball would be a 4. We didn't have a lot of 5s.
Right.
So, and I probably wasn't the type of player. I was more Allen Iverson-ish when it comes to when it comes to practice and all that stuff. I was much more interested in and involved in games. I hated practice, and coach did not like that. So, I wasn't exactly his type of player at all times, but I did have that ability to show up in big games. And so, things just tend to work themselves out. And, all's well that ends well.
Oh, it ended very well. Ended very well. Who are some of your teammates on that Villanova team?
The sophomore year team was me, Mark Plansky, Kenny Wilson, Doug West, Rodney Taylor, and then Gary Massey was coming off the bench as our sixth man. That was a great team. My senior year team, we had me, Mark Dowdell, Chris Walker, Lance Miller, and Greg Woodard. And a lot of, and I still keep in touch with most of those guys. Still, every holiday we're all reaching out to each other, wishing each other well. So how that is. Brotherhood never dies.
That's right. That's right. And that New York City, New York State, from Long Island to all the way upstate. You see how I made that rhyme? It's brotherhood right here, man, and also sisterhood, because we got a lot of females that come on the show that played this game as well. So 100%. I understand that for sure. When was your breakout game during that sophomore year?
Oh, I was against Syracuse at the Spectrum. I was actually sick before the game. I was throwing up in the locker room, and we go out and we're playing Ronnie Cycli, Derek Coleman, Stevie Thompson, Sherman Douglas, and Matt Rowe. That's their starting five. We end up winning the game. I end up playing a perfect game for all intents and purposes. I shot 8 for 8 and 4 for 4 from the line. Didn't miss a shot. We end up winning. I break up a pass at the end, a lob pass at the end to kind of ice the game. And that was definitely the game where everybody was like, huh. He's not bad.
Man, you talking about a perfect game. That's like a pitcher having a perfect game in basketball.
Yeah,
right?
It was nuts. It was nuts. And I did it against guys that were lottery picks.
What were you thinking? What after the game? Seriously, you read the stats. I know you had to look at the stats. She's like, oh, and I know you had to feel it. When we're on. We know we click.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah.
What did you say to yourself after the game?
I couldn't believe it. I literally couldn't believe it. I was just like, did that really just happen? But I have to say, I talked myself into it. I was sick, and I went out and started warming up, and all I kept on saying on repeat is just play. Don't worry about what's going to happen. Just play your game, see what happens, play. And I did. I ran off the first 4 baskets of the game again. It was like me 8, Syracuse 3 at one point in the game. So, it was one of those games that everything went the right way. And that was when people started wondering just how good I would end up being.
Okay, Tom, you get back to the campus. What is the party like?
Unfortunately, there was none. And I'll tell you why there was none. Well, I'm lying. There was one, but everybody else was on break.
Oh, got you.
The entire campus, except for us, the girls' team and the swimming team, was off campus. Everybody was home.
Got you.
So, but yeah, we went back to the dorm and turned up a little bit.
Man, so you was a tough ball player, Tom. Yes, he was.
Thank you, homie.
Facts. That is crazy. In the Big East, what team gave y'all fits? All right, let me go back one. Because I want you to answer this. Because I always ask all my guys who played in the Big East this question. Tom, what was it like playing in the Carrier Dome? 30,000 screaming fans, all in
crazy. I remember the first time walking in there, and it was like 37,000 people in the stand to watch the game. And I remember it was like the building was alive and had lungs, because like when they would yell, you just feel the air hitting you in the face. I mean, it definitely took a second to be like, and it definitely affects your shooting. You know, your foul shooting. There definitely is a depth perception thing.
Yes.
No two ways about it.
Yes, definitely.
No two ways about it. It's weird. It's weird playing there from a basketball perspective. Like, my favorite place to play was the Palestra. That's a basketball gym right there.
Right.
Or MSG. MSG is
the Garden's perfect.
The Garden's
yes.
perfect for basketball.
Yes, and for shooters as well. Like, man,
100%.
Yeah,
100%.
Visuals all right in there.
Yeah,
for sure. Man, that's crazy. All right, so now, what team gave y'all fits every time y'all played them? And it could be a couple, but
no, I got two.
Okay.
Seton Hall, and Pitt. Those two, I think, to my mind, those are the two teams that we hated playing most.
Now, was it that championship team at Seton Hall, or?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Gerald Green,
Gaze,
John Morton, Greis, right?
Mark
Walker.
Mark Bryant.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That squad ran us into the ground. Ramon Ramos was just a nightmare. A nightmare to play. He was like my guy Rodney Taylor was kind of like Ramon, in that he was also big and strong, but like Ramon was just like a piece of stone. He would just like move you around wherever he wanted to move you. It's crazy.
Well, I had Gerald Green and Darryl Walker up here as well. They talk about those memorable battles that they had against y'all. Yep.
And then at Pitt, you had Charlie Smith, Jerome Lane, Demetrius Gore, Sean Miller, Darrell Porter, Jason Matthews. Again, just and a team like if there was a team that kind of hated each other, because Rowley and the coach at Pitt, I can't remember the guy's name, but they really didn't like each other because they had a dispute over Bobby. Remember Bobby Martin at Pitt?
Yep.
I recruited Bobby, and if Bobby ever watches this, fuck you, Bobby, for not coming.
Double that for my man Tom Greis, Bobby Martin.
But for whatever reason, I love Bobby. By the way, he knows that.
Salute.
But yeah, we just got into each other's grills a lot. It seemed like, and if you were going to bleed that year, it was probably going to be playing one of those two teams.
Yeah, Basil wanted to know: did you play against this guy Marquise Braggs? He always talking about his Jersey guy.
Marquise, I think, was older than me. Or no, I'm sorry, I was older than Marquise. I think he was after me.
Yes, I think so as well. For sure. So it was Seton Hall and Pitt.
Seton Hall was just terrible. Was so hard to play with. Andrew Gaze was smart. I mean, he was like 28 years old when
he was like the first college overseas player, correct?
Yeah, him for Seton Hall for sure.
Yes, for Seton Hall, yes.
Yeah, for sure. And they were just smart. They were tough. They were strong. They would just grind you down. There was, when they made it in '89 to the Final Four, that was not a surprise to anybody in the Big East. I'll tell you that much.
And I think ever since then, they've been jinxed because they've never really been able to put it together the right way.
They've had some kids, though.
They had some really good players. We were just talking about this today. But man, what a shame they called on Gerald Green, right? That he did not foul Ramil Robinson. To put him on the line. I think they had to make sure Michigan State won because all the fanfare and hoopla compared to the smaller school of Seton Hall, who was definitely the Cinderella to that whole NCAA run. And salute to all my guys, Gerald Green, Dal Walker, John Morton, and the whole crew, for sure.
Salute to the Pirates.
Yes, yes. Who's this? Rayman want to say, did you play against Tom Gugliotta in high school?
Funny Tom Gugliotta story. We played together at the Empire State Games.
I
think he was a freshman when I was a senior, and it was me and Kenny were the two names on the team, and then Tom was a freshman at NC State at the time, and we did was pick at him the entire time. A guy who was a friggin' all-star, NBA all-star,
right,
college All-American. To him, he was just some little kid from Walt Whitman, and so we would just roast him the entire time. I mean, not how you roast your little brother, not anything terrible,
right.
But for him to have developed into the player that he did, I mean, we all saw that he had a body on him. We didn't know that he was going to become that great, though.
Listen, Tom, if you're listening, you're a New York legend. Make sure we get you on this podcast one day, man. We want to get all our New York greats and let guys know, because, I hear the Gilbert Arenas talking. I hear all these other guys talking, and they talk down on New York. I just want to let you know we started this shit, all right? And we still putting our ball players. We got Boogie Flan this year going to Kentucky. We got Captain Jack Ian Jackson going to North Carolina. Elijah Moore going to Syracuse. Dwayne Pierce going to Iowa State. Like, we got some ball players coming out, some serious ball players. So, and there's more, and I'm not even mentioning, but just let you know we got some big-time ball players still in New York. We putting it back in perspective, for sure. Oh yeah, he was not. Come on, he was not killing. He was not killing Gerald Green. Easy.
No.
The only person he was killing, I'm not even gonna go there. Right, Ramil Robinson. All right, don't let me go there. You heard? Don't talk about my guy Gerald like that. Said Cold Springs Harbor, my guy. His family are all bricklayers. Said, man, Gil is nuts. And a crybaby. Yo, this is crazy. Nah, this is fun, man. This is fun. Who talked the most shit during your days in the Big East?
Believe it or not, I didn't really talk at all. Who
talks it to you? Like, who was the
really
biggest? No, nobody was a big in the Big East. Nobody was a big word.
No. I mean, if you dunked on somebody, you'd stare them down or something like that. But we weren't really like. I mean, I still talk to Derek Holmes to this day, and we still laugh about games. It's not like it was never like that, because we all knew each other through high school too. So it was never really like that. But every once in a while, you block a shot or give me that shit or whatever. That's about as far as I ever remember it going.
Yeah, salute to Derek Coleman. He follows me on Instagram. We follow each other on Instagram, man. Salute, definitely, man. DC, one of the greats. Actually, he bought us some drinks when I was hanging out with Jason Williams at Big Daddy's. His little bar that he had in the city. Yeah. For sure. What was it like playing against Dikembe and Derek? Like,
well, I actually had to play against Dikembe and Alonzo Mourning at the same time when I was there.
Woo! What was that like? And now, hold on. Now, you was blocking their shots when you had those 8 blocks?
I don't think I got them.
Okay.
I don't think I got either of them. I got a lot of the guards and forwards.
Okay,
I don't
you
think
didn't
I
get
got
to
either
go
of
to
them.
do this against No, that's dope. That's dope. Said the sleep in New York, Elijah Muhammad left Seton Hall last year. He's in JUCO, getting it together. Definitely,
go.
definitely. Salute to him. Yep, for sure. Let's talk about that Maui Classic, man.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, everybody know I would always ask my coach, "Yo, coach, can we just play against my Hawaii University? Can we just set up again?" Yo, guys, John Johnson, who played at Virginia, said he should have went to Hawaii. He said he took the trip out there. He knew he wasn't going, but he wanted to take the trip there because Lloyd had made up his mind that he was going to Virginia,
Right.
whatever that was. But I know guys. Kurt Taylor played at Hawaii from Far Rockaway.
Right.
He played for Rockaway. Man,
Right.
and then the Maui Classic, you saw it on ESPN every year. So legendary. How was it? And to hit the game winner.
We were like we played in like one of the first or second ones, and the gym that we were in was like basically a rec league gym.
High school, definitely.
I mean, it probably had like on each side, it had those pull out seats. There weren't no luxury boxes or nothing. It was basically, it was effectively a high school sized gym. And but we got to play against San Diego State in the first round, and then we played Illinois when Illinois had let's see, Nick Anderson, Marcus Liberty, Kendall Gill, Kenny Battle, and this dude Jens Kuyaba, who was like 7 foot.
Ooh,
and
some dogs.
And that was the game where that was actually the championship. That was the semifinal where I turned on this dude who was checking me, Jens Kuyaba, and just hit a bank jump hook on him. And you guys might know this. Steve Lapis was one of our assistants. He was actually Rod Strickland's high school coach.
Yep, at Truman. Yep.
So I run back to the bench. Lapis jumps up in my face and he goes, "You just hit a buzzer on those dudes." And like, it was the funniest thing in the moment. You just went on those dudes, and we to this day when the first thing we do when we see each other, every single time.
If I ever see Steve Lapis, that's the first thing I'm gonna do and be like, "You need to come on the show."
Yeah, without a doubt. But he that again was another, like, one of those signs that things were heading in the right direction with my career at Villanova for sure.
And then you close out your career against Boston College.
Well, actually, that was my last Big East game, regular season game, and I forgot about that game. I kind of gave them a little business that night, didn't I?
You gave them the business. 26 points, 14 rebounds, and 7 blocks. That right there is like legendary numbers. When you leave out and you drop the mic. You dropped the mic on that one. You was like, you know what? Career over, y'all. See y'all later. Peace.
Mm-hmm. That's right. That's how you got to do.
What were you thinking before the game? Like, let's talk about what were you thinking before the game?
Before the last one?
Yes.
You're such a kid when it's happening. I'm like, I probably wasn't thinking about it as hard as I should have, but it was just another game, and I definitely, again, wanted, like you said, I wanted to have everybody remember what they were no longer getting. So I wanted to show out and put up a big night like I did that night.
It was one of those days when you kind of talked yourself into being Superman, right?
Yeah. As close as I could get.
Definitely put that S in your chest that night. Yeah. Appreciate that, brother. I forgot John Strick, man. Rest in peace.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Finish Your Breakfast himself. Definitely was out there. Man, you are considered one of the top big men to ever play at Villanova, right? Did they actually induct you into the Hall of Fame? Did they have that process? Or
Yeah.
it's just like, okay. How was that night?
That was amazing. That was really amazing because, believe it or not, like when I left Villanova, the fact that I didn't get into the league was tough for me to handle. And, I didn't actually look at my career as being that great because I didn't take that next step like so many people, and I expected myself to be able to do. That's a documentary sized interview right there. So to have them come back and say, "Hey, we're inducting you into the Hall of Fame," that was like, really? Because again, and part of it I feel like was the company that I kept. I mean, I played against guys that are going to be first ballot Hall of Famers if they're not already in.
Yeah.
So what do I have? I had to kind of come to myself to say, what do I have to be ashamed of? I did what I did. I did it against the best, and nobody can take that away from me. So I just kind of that was a big, I guess, confirmation that I was a good player and that I deserve to be mentioned in the same names, in the same breaths with some of these other guys, for sure.
First of all, let me say this. It was a damn shame you weren't drafted to the league, right? 1,500 points, 728 rebounds, 273 blocks. Those are great numbers. Playing in the toughest league, one of the toughest, if not the toughest at the time. The Big East was top 3 toughest leagues.
Yeah, it was us. It was always us in the ACC. It was always just us in the ACC.
There's no way in hell you should have been in the league.
Yeah.
I was, first of all, knowing that, right? But I spent all afternoon after I got home from watching Eagle Bronx versus Eagle Brooklyn today. But I spent all afternoon trying to figure out why. Like, I'm going, I know he was on somebody's team. Like, maybe he got there and got cut, and there was nothing. And even though I knew this, it still pissed me off.
Yeah.
Going through it today. So no one, if you get a kid right now that has those numbers, he's getting drafted in the league.
One would think, yeah. And remember also, all my 1,500 were, if I got threes, they were always the hard way.
And you came in, you were playing during the time where there was traditional big men in the league.
Yeah, absolutely. But it was just then changing. Like, everybody wanted Scottie Pippen when I was coming out. Like, if you look at that draft, I think only one 7-footer, Felton Spencer, who got, I think he went like 5th to the Timberwolves or something like that. He was the only true center in the first round, I believe, in that draft.
Right.
And then that was also the first year that they dropped it from, I think, 5 rounds to 2.
Yo, let me tell you. Yo, we sat up and cried because we was just like, we're never making it to the NBA. It's over. Like, you talking about dream crush, and we weren't the only ones, because we would talk to other guys that were at other schools, and they all felt the same. They all felt the same. Like, that path to the NBA just got shown, but went from 7 rounds to 2 in an instant. It was just like, okay, we're gonna stop it right here.
Mm-hmm.
So unfair, NBA. So unfair. Nah, that's real, yo. That's real. Just like so unfair. unfair. So unfair. Wow. He said, man, can't beat yourself up. You did it.
Oh,
Right?
believe me,
3.5
not beating
years.
myself up.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm proud of what I did.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. You did it, brother. Listen, I look at my college career. I didn't hit 1,000, but I'm like, man, I gave it all that I can give it at that moment. You scored 1,500 points. Who is getting that in the big man position? Who's getting 728 rebounds and 273 blocks? A lot of these guys can't even block shots. He probably great offensive minded dudes, but they ain't getting 273 block shots. It's crazy, man. Crazy.
Yep.
Listen, this is why we giving you flowers here
I appreciate it.
on Basketball Heads, man, because you are definitely a New York legend. We got to definitely give you your props. You was a legend all across the board for us, man. So
Thank you, man. I
definitely,
appreciate
man.
you guys.
Definitely. What was that transition like back into the real world?
Hard. Really hard. I mean, when you're an athlete at that level, pretty much everything is being taken care of for you. You know, everything. So now you're going from everything being taken care of for you to you got to figure it all out on your own. So, you know, and then when you have to come to the realization that you're probably not going to play ball for money anymore, that again kind of hits you and you're like, oh, I should have done this, should have done that. But at the end of the day, you do what you do. Everybody does the best they can with the information that they have, you know? So I had a great opportunity. I used it to the best of my ability. Could not be happier with the result.
When I talk to guys and I ask them about that last transition, it's usually similar answers, right? Because as ball players, you know, we're studying, we're doing tour days, right? We're traveling the country playing basketball. Most of our time is consumed playing basketball. That time spent, there's a small fraction of us, especially, you know, if you're not the main guy, you're kind of focusing a little bit earlier than the main guys. And if you're a main guy that's playing college basketball, that transition, man, is a little tough. Did it take you a long time to kind of figure your way out?
No, it didn't take long. I always knew that I could, you know, fall back on my degree and find a job and I'd be fine with a normal, quote unquote, normal life. You know, that was never something that I was afraid of ever entering into. So, you know, just settled down, had kids, raised them up, and here I am.
You make it sound so simple. You make it sound so simple, but look, the simple life is good, right? The simple life is good.
It's better than the complicated life, I'll tell you that.
There you go. That's right. When did you realize you were funny, and how did you get into stand-up?
I think I've always been funny, and I think I've gotten into stand-up because when you're this tall, you're either funny or you get roasted constantly. Am I wrong?
No, that's true. That's true. That's true. You gotta have some good comebacks.
You gotta have a quick wit if you're gonna be this tall, or else you're just gonna have a bad time all the time. So like most of what I talk about is just being tall. Everybody wants to be tall. You know, everybody's like, oh, I wish I was tall, or I wish I was, you know.
Tell me about it.
So, and I agree that it's great to be tall, but to be this tall is a little ridiculous. I mean, it had like about 8 years worth of use, and now it is just a constant pain in the ass. I mean, a regular door is 6'8". I got to duck under doors. I have not gone to a mall for clothes other than underwear or socks since I was like in the 6th grade. Cars are not delightful. I don't get to have a Ferrari unless I want to be buried in one. It's just,
That's funny as shit.
I don't feel like laying flat on the floor and driving a car. That's what it would be like for me. So, I mean, and people don't understand that someone like me gets asked every waking moment of my life. Like I'll talk about, things that I get asked or things that are said to me, or I get asked every day. Holy cow, you're tall. How tall are you? Are your parents tall? How tall are they? Do you have kids? Are they tall? How tall are they? And I'll be like, now I understand that probably doesn't sound like it's bad. None of those questions were bad. And I'm like, okay, cool. Let's change height to width. And let's ask those same questions again and see if we feel as the same way. Holy cow, you're fat. How much do you weigh?
Yeah, nobody says that. Right.
Are your parents fat? How much do they weigh? Do you have kids? Are they fat? How much do they weigh? All of a sudden, that's very problematic.
Right.
But when you talk to tall people, no problem whatsoever. So I talk more about stuff like that, and just I like making people feel uncomfortable but laugh at while they're feeling uncomfortable. So I just have fun with it. It's a lot of fun.
Listen, I'm only 6'6", and I get that
constantly.
I could imagine being
6 foot
7.
Only 3% of the entire population is over 6'3".
Wow.
There are only 3,200 7-foot people on the entire planet.
That's crazy. Yo, that's crazy. And even got my guy Ballhead laughing too. It's crazy. That Ferrari, that is crazy right there. That is unbelievable. I've heard that you can't call yourself a real comedian unless you've done it 7 to 10 years. How long have you been doing this comedy thing?
I'm not a real comedian yet then, because I've only been doing it for about 2 years, but I have gotten paid for doing it. So that's how I measure it. If you've gotten paid to do it, then you are a professional.
That's real. That's real. I think I heard like Chris Rock and these guys talking, but these guys was doing it since they was like 18. Right? They probably wasn't good at anything else except making people laugh. So
it worked out.
It worked out, right? Definitely worked out. He said, holy cow, you're fat. No, but you ask people, right? No one walks up to a fat person.
It would be messed up to do that.
Yes.
Like you would get yelled at by a stranger if you walked up to a fat person and said, "Damn, you're fat. How much do you weigh?"
That would be crazy. Basil, I think you kind of late to the party. Yes, he is a comedian.
He's just confirming that I am a comedian. I think
yes. Tom, you are a comedian. Got you. Basil, you always on point, brother. You always on point. My bad. That's dope. Now we talked about the NIL deals, right? Already. What about the transfer portal? Like, what do you think about that? Because it's happening now in high school. Let me tell you, New York City now, you can transfer to any high school you want to because of, the transfer portal made everything okay.
The transfer I don't understand all the ins and outs of the transfer portal and like how much money is available to all the different schools. I'm sure it varies. So what I'm thinking is going to happen is basically what has already happened in the past. Big schools are going to benefit.
Yeah.
The bigger schools, the state schools are going to get guys because they can offer more money. So it's good. It's going to come down to it. But I'm glad that the players who are sweating sweating and crying and doing all the things that we had to do are finally being given something for the effort.
Definitely. Definitely.
You know, I wouldn't have minded being pretty much set to do whatever I wanted to do when I left school. That would have been cool.
Listen,
You
I have
know?
a coworker, her son just committed to a really big school, and he got $100,000.
Good for him.
Right? She didn't know anything about NIL. I was like, ask him about NIL. Ask him because he's going to a big school. They would know. And she hit me up. She was like,
no doubt.
He got it. I was like, yes, good to have that information. Glad I could help you out. For sure.
100%.
For sure. Where can someone catch your stand-up if they want to see you? So let me just explain something to you. Because I have, you see that picture in the back?
Yeah.
That was for my last guest, Don Cronson, who's a basketball agent. He was Pearl's agent, Michael Ray Richardson, and a few other guys' agent. And when we first started, my guy Jamel Powell, he used to be right behind me doing the artwork. And the last show was his last time coming back after taking a year off. He's came back. But when he came to drop your picture off, I was at the Eagle game.
I got you.
Right? So he has a picture for you. So if I want to come check out your stand-up and present your picture to you, where can I catch you?
Well, right now I'm mostly working in North Carolina here where I live in Charlotte. All of my, if you go to Big T Comedy 33 on Instagram, on TikTok, most of my sets are on there. So you know, I'm just kind of building it out now as it is with a lot of things. It's more about how many people you can bring to the party than whether or not you're good. So you know, you got to get, it seems a lot of comedians have to get a really strong social media presence, which I'm still kind of building. So working on it.
Listen, you thought about doing some skits, right? You do some skits about you being tall or you acting it out. I'm definitely going to check out that. I will be down in North Carolina area in February. So I'll definitely
then we'll definitely get out. We'll definitely link up then for sure.
Definitely. I'm going to spend some time down there with some family and friends, and we're going to definitely hook up. He said, I got into a fight with Chris Rock at the Red Parrot the same night. I had the entire Syracuse team in there. D. Brower, another guy who I've been talking to. He's coming to the show soon. Wow.
Oh, please get D on there.
Oh, man. D got some stories. He already let me know.
Oh, I know he does.
He said, bro, I got some stories, but I want to make sure that I'm cool first. And we definitely going to get him up here, man. We definitely going to get up here. Yeah, listen, say your Instagram again so everybody can follow it, man.
Real simple. Big T 33. Big T Comedy 33 at whatever you're looking at.
Definitely. Everything. All right. If you could change one thing about your basketball journey, what would it be and why?
I probably wouldn't have partied as much as I did. I always say, you're probably the same, Pooh. Could you imagine if Facebook and Twitter was around when we were playing? We would be buried under jails right now.
Man, first of all, fam, you know, and it's not the, and I'm talking for all men right now who are guys that are men right now. Right, you know, you had your Playboy books and magazine that you hide, that you keep. Right, just imagine we had that in our phones.
Forget about it.
We wouldn't have been the ball players that we turned out to be. What's going on?
That's right.
We probably would have made a load of money as well, but who knows? Where life would have taken.
No doubt.
All right, Tom, we're about to have some real fun right now. We're about to get into our top 5, and I'm gonna let you go. All right. This is our Top five. All right, Tom, let's do this. I'm here to get you in trouble as well. So please just answer the questions. 5, no more, no 6-man, no 2 guys off the bench.
All right.
Top 5 players in Long Island history.
Doc, obviously. Tobias Harris. I'll put Tobias Harris up there.
Oh, he's a dog for real. Yes.
I'll put myself up at the 5 of that.
Go ahead, Tom. That's right.
Let's see. Damn. Probably Billy D's got to be in there.
For sure.
And I'm sure there are like 10 dudes that I'm forgetting. For my boy, I'm going to put Bobby Brown from North Babylon on that list.
No doubt. Tough. Top 5 Big East players you played against.
Oh, my God. Let's see. Should go by team. Star of St. John's, Jason Williams, Malik Sealy, Mark Jackson, Shelton Jones. Let's move to UConn.
Hold on. You only can pick 5.
Oh.
That's it.
The 5,
let's get this 5 right.
Yeah, we'll just go with that. That's fine.
Okay. And then, who would that? You said one more. Who was the one more though?
Toughest dude had to be Derek Coleman. Without a doubt.
Got you.
DC was the man.
Yeah, Don Cronson was Mark Jackson's agent too. You're right. Definitely. He was saying, how come you didn't name Jeff Rulin? Right?
He was nice.
He was
no
nice.
Doubt.
But he wasn't in that top 5. So salute to Jeff Rulin for sure. All right. Top 5 guys you played with.
I just put the 5 guys from. Well, played with Anthony Mason in the USBL. Doug West at Villanova. Gary.
It's about Gary Massey.
Mark
Yes.
Mark Plansky, and Kenny Wilson.
Got you.
Yeah, we would. Yeah, we'd be in Sing Sing.
Definitely. Randy Smith from Bellport too. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they love to add the extras for sure. We appreciate you for sure. All right. So, top 5 comedians, but I'm gonna go first. Okay.
All right.
Let me tell you. I think in my past life, I was a comedian because I watched so much stand-up comedy. I watched so much stand-up comedy and so many mob documentaries. I think I was in a mob too. It was like, how the hell? What? Yeah, I've never had handcuffs on, but I've been fascinated by the mob life.
Completely.
So you and I, okay, we kindred spirits for
That's
sure.
The same.
So it's gonna go Richard Pryor, Eddie Murphy. Well, hold on. We'll start back. Dave Chappelle, Richard Pryor, Eddie Murphy, Bill Burr, and oh my God, I'm drawing a blank right now. Oh, what's my guy? Oh man, it's killing me right now. I gotta do this. Oh man. He was the he was the roast, not the roast master who they call a roast master, but this guy passed away. Oh my God, it's killing me right now.
Now I'm starting to think about who it is.
Hold on. This is gonna kill me right now. I'm gonna tell you right now. because I should have had this written down. What's my man name? Greg Giraldo.
He's great.
Greg
He's
Giraldo
great.
is one of the most underrated comedians ever. Listen, if you haven't heard of Greg Giraldo, rest in peace, Greg Giraldo. He was a lawyer turned comedian from
Yep.
New York City. He was incredible. This
Unbelievable.
sit and write his roast
People to death.
and kill, and his stand-up.
Kill them.
I would think like his stand-up would be kind of corny because I didn't like the
No.
guy Jeff Ross because he didn't write his jokes. Like for somebody who didn't write your jokes, it's like an MC who don't write your rhymes. Can't
Exactly.
That's the way I look at it.
Absolutely.
Greg Giraldo was an absolute master. And I just discovered Bill Burr maybe about 7 years ago. I used to always see this pop up, the Philly rant, but I never clicked on it.
Oh, bro, that is hilarious.
Yo, let me tell you, when one day I think it was a storm outside, and I live on YouTube anyway. Man, I watched this Philly rant.
Oh my God, it was the best.
I said, anyone who can get booed, stand there and then turn the crowd into an audience of people who are clapping for you.
Yeah.
Man, you're one of the best. And I've been watching them ever since then. We know the Richard Pryors, Eddie Murphy and Dave Chappelle, what they did. But those two guys got into my top 5 because of that. Those things right there. And of course, they're excellent comedians. So
yeah.
What about your 5? I'll give you some time.
All right. I'll give you Dave Chappelle for sure.
Yes.
George Carlin.
Carlin, he's in my top 10. Bill Burr kind of bumped him out.
Yeah. Bill Burr is there. Tom Segura is there.
Oh, he's good too.
Yeah. I like guys that are storytellers more than just like punchers.
Right.
So, yeah. Yep.
Two more.
Louis C.K. before he started jacking it in front of people.
Did he jack in front of him or he jacked off on the phone? What did he do? Come on.
I think he did both on separate occasions. Yeah. It's kind of messed up.
That is kind of messed up.
But he was hilarious before he did that nonsense. And one more. Mitch Hedberg.
I gotta hold on. I gotta
he's
check
funny.
him out.
He's more. Remember Stephen Wright? He was just like super dry comedy. He's like that.
Long hair dude.
Yeah. Yep.
Got
Mitch
you.
Hedberg.
I'm definitely gonna check him out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dave Chappelle, because he started out so young, we were around the same age.
Yep.
I was saying to myself, could I really do that? Because he was a kid doing what he was doing. And was good then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Man, that's crazy. Well, listen, Tom, let me tell you, brother. It was a pleasure kicking it with you, man. I'm glad I was able to bring you on, man. We had so much fun. Let's stay in contact. When I'm definitely 100%. Down in North Carolina, I'm definitely going to come check you and present you.
We are definitely linking up.
With your picture, man. And just to let you know, you are definitely one of the greatest players in New York history. And I want to salute you, brother, for sure.
I appreciate you.
No doubt. Going to get out of here. I like to appreciate everybody who signed on your Tom. You could stay on for our outro and you can catch it later on. Make sure you share this episode with family and friends. I'm talking about everybody that's on here. Share with family and friends and make sure they all subscribe. For sure. All right, Tom.
All right, man.
Peace. Man, if you don't know what it's like to be tall, if you were never tall, you will never know. You will never know. Of course, you're going to start off a little awkward. We all did, having these growth spurts. But I couldn't imagine being 7'2" or being 6'6" at like 12 years old. I couldn't imagine that. I had my growth spurt when I was in high school and only tipped the scale at 6'6", or the measuring stick. So when you got to find yourself being that tall, and then you come into your own and you able to control all your body parts, literally, pause on that, and become one of the greatest players in New York history. Coming from Long Island, where they had so many ball players, making your way on the big stage in a big university, on the biggest stage, you definitely have to be commended. Our guest tonight, Tom Greis, he did it, and he did it big. Pause again. We'd like to congratulate him on all his success and continued success as a comedian. For everybody on the check-in, appreciate everybody on the check-in. Ayatollah Beats, Coach Big, Basil, appreciate you, brother. AB Money, Ballhead, Rain Mal, One, hope I'm saying that right. Always kill everybody's name. CK, appreciate you, brother. Thank you. Thank you for always coming in support. Appreciate everybody. And as we do around this time, I am your host, Glenn Pooh Harding, and you've been watching Basketball Heads Live, the podcast on NYC Basketball History, baby. Because we are the official home for New York City basketball, as we always do around this time. Peace.